In this part of the lecture, we are going to discuss about the evolution or history of quality. TQM has taken many centuries to reach the stage which we see now. Before industrial revolution, cottage industry was prevailing. In the early 18th century, industries were generally small scale and relatively unsophisticated. Most manufacturing was done in homes or small rural shops using hand tools or simple machines. Most textile production, for example, was centered on small workshops or in the homes of spinners, weavers, and dyers, and this was the cottage industry. After industrial revolution, during the early days of manufacturing, an operative's work was inspected and a decision made whether to accept or reject it. The focus was just to accept or reject the products based on the specification. No effort was made on defect prevention. This gave rise to problems like technical errors, lack of training to inspectors, etc., resulting in more defects. In the 1920s, statistical theory began to be applied effectively to quality control, and in 1924, made the first attempt of a modern control chart. His work was later developed by Deming, and the early work of Shewhart, Deming, Dodge, and Rumig constitutes much of what today comprises the theory of statistical process control. However, there was little use of these techniques in manufacturing companies until the late 1940s. In the early 1950s, quality management practices developed rapidly in Japanese plants and became a major theme in Japanese management philosophy, such that by 1960, quality control and management had become a national preoccupation. In 1970, Japan jumps to USA and Europe due to its cheap and high quality products. In 1969, Feigenbaum presented a paper in a conference, and the term total quality was used for the first time and referred to wider issues such as planning, organizing, and management responsibility. Ishikawa presented a paper explaining how total quality control in Japan was different, it meaning company-wide quality control, and describing how all employees from top management to the workers must study and participate in quality control. Company-wide quality management was common in Japanese companies by the late 1970s. Total quality management, TQM, came into existence in 1980 by the Western world. TQM is now part of a much wider concept that addresses overall organizational performance and recognizes the importance of processes. As we move into the 21st century, TQM has developed in many countries into holistic frameworks aimed at helping organizations achieve excellent performance, particularly in customer and business results. Statistical approaches to quality control started at Western Electric. Pioneers like Dr. Walter Shewhart, Deming Edwards, and George Duran were all employees of Western Electric. Dr. Walter Shewhart in the year 1920 developed the plan, do, check, act cycle known as PDCA cycle for continuous improvement, which is in use even today. Plan means recognize an opportunity and plan a change. Do means test the change, carry out a small scale study. Check indicates review the test, analyze the results, and identify what you have learned. Act indicates take action based on what you learned in the study step. If the change did not work, go through the cycle again with a different plan. If you were successful, incorporate what you learned from the test into wider changes. Use what you learned to plan new improvements, beginning the cycle again. Deming was an experienced statistician who says that management must concentrate on setting, following up, improving the systems continuously in which the human resources worked. Deming insisted that when working with other employees, the managers are important because a better feedback will be obtained from the employees who do the work correctly. Unlike the scientific management approach, which involves the managers to set job methods and standards, Deming also insisted the need for training employees in the statistical process and work analysis methods. He believed that it gave the ability to the workforce to denote how and where there is a change in the needs. Deming also stressed the importance of suppliers and customers for the business development and improvement. He believed that people do their best and it is a system that must change to improve quality. His 14 points for management formed the basis for his advice to top Japanese management. Feigenbaum in the year 1951 stressed the concept of total quality control. Total quality control, according to Feigenbaum, is an effective system for integrating the quality development, quality maintenance, and quality improvement efforts of the various groups in an organization so as to enable production and service at the most economical levels, which allows full customer satisfaction. Joseph M. Juran worked at the Hawthorne Electric Plant in Chicago in the 1920s, visiting Japan in the early 1850s, and his teaching is based loosely on the Pareto principle. Juran suggested that typically 95% of the problems of quality at work are the result of systems where the employees work inside the environment. So, there is a small way to resolve the results by asking to develop the motivation of an employee. His advice was for the managers to specify all major quality problems, highlighting the major problems, and if it is worked out, will give many advantages and starts the project to deal with the employees. Juran believes that any person who is influenced by the product is specified as a customer by establishing the idea of external and internal customers. Juran in the year 1954 developed the statistical quality handbook for Western Electric Company. He identified fitness of quality and popularized the same. His approach is still known today as the Juran trilogy: quality planning, quality control, and quality improvement. Taiichi Ohno in the year 1970 gave the theory of just-in-time production. He is also known as the father of just-in-time production. He is also the co-creator of Toyota Production System, TPS. Just-in-time, pioneered by Taiichi Ohno in Japan at the Toyota car assembly plants in the early 1970s, is a manufacturing organization philosophy. Just-in-time cuts waste by supplying parts only when the assembly process requires them. At the heart of just-in-time lies the Kanban, the Japanese word for card. The Kanban cart is used to the warehouse to reorder a standard quantity of parts as and when they have been used up in the assembly or manufacturing process. Just in time requires precision, as the right parts must arrive just in time at the right position. Ishikawa in the year 1962 strongly advocated the use of cause and effect diagram to provide a true representation of the organizational impact and procedures. He developed the Fishbone or Ishikawa diagram for cause and effect analysis. Shigu Shingo in the year 1960 worked with Ono, developed the concept of Poka-yoke, which means mistake proof in Japanese and refers to taking human judgment out of some types of production, thereby minimizing human errors. Poka means inadvertent, that is, mistake that anyone can make. Yoke means to prevent or proof. Poka-yoke is a tool to have zero defects and even reduce or eliminate quality control. Poka-yoke is a Japanese name for foolproofing. Crosby, an engineer known for accessing the concept of zero defects, which was produced at a company he once worked for. Eventually, Crosby became the corporate vice president of the ITT Corporation and the director of quality. Crosby's mantra was quality is free. Further, that it is not an issue of degree. He emphasizes that the management must note the quality by tracking the non-conformance cost and cost of wrong things continually. Crosby denoted that the major point is the requirement of conformance. Crosby in the year 1980 championed a quality improvement process based on following 4 criteria. Number 1, quality can be referred as conformance to specification of the customer. Number 2, a quality system should focus on prevention, not appraisal and detection. Number 3, the standard of a quality should be set at zero defects. Number 4, the quality measurement is the non-conformance cost. Thus, we have seen how the quality has evolved from 1920s to what we see now today. Thank you.